I'm Marie. I'm the VP of Strategy at Hudson. We are a visual marketing software that helps brands like Air Jordan and Pantene and Nestle and NBC and Apple and Amazon optimize their visual presence on social media. And we are here to talk today about Greg's incredible work historically at P&G, but also currently with Gillette. So Greg, hi.
Hey there, how are you?
I'm good.
Good.
I'd love just to give us a little background about your experience working in the sports marketing industry, as well as your current role at P&G.
Yeah, I think we talked a little bit yesterday, and I've been lucky to hang around a lot of really, really good people, and be a lot involved in lots of fun, exciting programs. And it's not a lot about what I'm doing; it's just kind of like what are the great people around me doing, and how do I hang on to it? So I got started in this whole sports world. I was a really bad athlete, and just happened again to hang around really good ones. And so I was an assistant coach at the University of Tennessee in track and field, and ended up being the head coach at head cross country coach at LSU. So those things of that really gave me a good grounding, and ended up going to work for Gatorade. There's two kinds of coaches: ones that have been fired and ones that are going to be fired. And so it was time for me to look for something else. So I actually went to Gatorade and worked for another track and field guy by the name of Bill Schmidt, who was a bronze medalist in the javelin in '72 and ran the legend in sports marketing. But interesting enough, my job interview for Gatorade was at the '86 Super Bowl in New
Oh,
Orleans.
wow.
So New England Patriots, Chicago Bears. So had great seats in the end zone, the last row up against the wall. But hey, I was there. But I've
That's
had
amazing.
great experience with Gatorade, working across all the leagues, and spent 10 years with Michael Jordan. Went to Motorola, worked on their sports marketing as a vice president for a while. They're doing a lot of race cars, which was extremely fun, and obviously working with the NFL as well. New era, working in licensing with Major League Baseball, and a lot of tastemaker accounts. Really learned a lot about fashion, and became a big sneakerhead, which has been fun. And then I came to Gillette and Procter and Gamble in 2007, and right away I was kind of like thrown into the fire of what Procter and Gamble is, which is a wonderful, wonderful place, but pretty intense, as you know. So right away, my first athletes were Tiger Woods, Roger Federer, Thierry Henry. So with the Gillette champions. So it's been an amazing 13.5 years of what we've been able to accomplish, really using sports as a tool, as a marketing tool. Gatorade, it was a field of play, owning the sidelines, having that cup in the hand, and that was one of the strategies. Great athletes as well, but Gillette is really, really in store. We want to make that in-store presence at the what's called FMONT, the first moment of truth when you walk in. Also, just building really, really top-notch toolkits, whether it's our World Cup, the Olympics, the NFL. Back in the day, Major League Baseball. We also had NASCAR at one time as well. But also, part of that big portfolio is Gillette Stadium, and that's something that's been really a lot of fun to work with over the years, especially when you're winning Super Bowls. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah. So tell us a little more about Gillette's work with the NFL this year.
This year was really I guess it's the first year in the last 2 or 3 that we've really gone all out on the NFL, and it's been just a terrific program. And again, we've got great marketing people at Gillette, and they put the program together. I have my particular areas that I'm part of it, but the program was designed by our marketing team, and the theme of it was every day is game day. And then especially within this COVID, we've had to really adjust to how that program was put together. Right when we went into the lockdown on March 13th, we were putting together a huge draft program, and that all had to be altered. So we went out and did quite a few deals with, anchored the main program above the line with Saquon Barkley. And then we had below the line and then some above the line with Tua, Jalen Hurts, Ashton Davis, and Cole Kemet, all rookies. And, we really selected and lucked out, I think, to a point on an exceptional rookie class that we had that anchored the everyday is game day. And we did a lot with a lot of interviews, a lot of Skype, Zoom interviews with our athletes that we were able to put up on Instagram and some of the other vehicles. We launched Saquon with a 30 and a 60-second spot, which we filmed virtually. I had 3 computer screens here in my home, trying to figure out what was going on set and trying to chase and yell at people to stop wasting time and shoot. So it's the whole Gillette experience with the NFL this year has just been absolutely wonderful. It's a shame we're going to miss that. We're doing some things around Super Bowl, more around the TikTok challenge that we're doing with Procter and Gamble as part of their program. This or that SB LV is the TikTok piece. That's up now. Ashton's part of that, or Ashton's part of that, and I think obviously I believe Jalen's going to be part of that as well. And so that's really what we're doing, and no big activations on site. I'm going to miss my first one in probably a number of years. I start counting from 86 and kind of figure out how many that is. But but the NFL program this year has just been fantastic. We've gotten a lot of pickup. Razor sales are going well. And we just had a really nice adoption of the program from our customers and our consumers.
That's an interesting segue because, you talked about that first moment of truth, right? And how you're primarily an in-store retail brand, but obviously, you can't have a conversation without talking about COVID right now and how things have shifted, right? So tell me, now that you're shifting more of your activations, you mentioned TikTok, you mentioned Instagram, in addition to the traditional 30 and 60 spots, how are you measuring ROI on things like that right now? Have you changed the way you're looking at it, evaluating performance? I mean, how do you know if it's working?
Well, P&G, everything's working, or you stop quickly. We just have exceptional people and talented folks who are just really extremely smart and know about the right tools and especially with measuring Instagram and whether it's Instagram and YouTube and TikTok now has become a huge vehicle for us. But we're also doing a lot on Twitch, and that's obviously a little bit harder to measure, but it's a lot of eyeballs. But are you really breaking through? And that's something I think we've really learned a lot over the last 11 months about really how to go and how to impact our consumer, especially with social medias, with Instagram and Twitter and Twitch and Facebook. We have to get better. I mean, I don't think we were very, very good at measuring it before, but we had to go back and really look at the right tools. We have our consumer marketing knowledge group that really goes in and dives down. We have a group, Stagwell, that we work with that really is doing some exceptional things on helping us measure. But every day we're trying to get better. I can't say I say we're really good, but you got to get better. You got to get better.
Yeah. I mean, something we talked about previously is, so when everyone's at home, right? There's no more segmenting social media versus media.
Right.
Right. It's all one vehicle of communication with everybody right now, and having a conversation that way, I think it lets everybody sort of level set and look at impact in a different way. Right. It's interesting.
And we've always known how to measure media. I mean, we're I think maybe now we used to be the largest purchaser of media in the world. I think we're the second largest now, but that's part of the company, and they're experts at measuring media and placing it, which you can measure it all you want to, but the key is the right placement, I guess. So it's, you want people to actually see it. So you don't want to be buying ESPN at 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning when probably your dog's not even watching it. So there you go.
Right. Except for on Super Bowl Sunday. Everyone's watching all day.
I'm watching it all the time.
So what's really fascinating about your career has been your work with talent and athletes over the years. And something we do at Dash Hudson is help our partners measure influencers and source new talent and new users and people who are screaming at you about your product all day on social media that you may not be able to find. So, I'm interested to hear how you look at the new breed of influencer, if you will, and how you're tackling that sort of conversation from a talent perspective.
Yeah, I mean, Gillette's been doing sports for over 100 years, right? So, um, so we've got a lot of history with lots and lots of talent and lots of athletes. I mentioned I started with Tiger and Roger, um, but through the days they've had Beckham and just Major League Baseball players and lots and tons of NFL players, Olympic athletes, and you know and doing that, it's a huge selection process of who you're going to pick. I mean, we picked Saquon to anchor our NFL program this year. That was a lot of due diligence. I mean, our agency partners come to us with, we talk to them with, we have the brief, we have the creative, we have the idea, and then who's going to fit with that. And a new thing that's come up, and it should have always been there. We've had some athletes that they're extremely talented and they're great athletes. I mean, you're working with Neymar and you're working with Messi and you're working with Antoine Griezmann and now Raheem Sterling and it's Clay Matthews, and it's just been it's just a ton of very talented athletes. But what we've added is, and not that these guys didn't meet this, but we're adding that they have to now meet the values of the brand. I mean, we had a couple of years ago um, an online, I guess, laydown of what we were talking about, masculinity and respect, and we needed to stand for something, and the brand has values, and brands always had values, but we were talking about them, and these athletes have to stand for something. They really need to be part of the community. They really need to be giving back. They really need to be taking a stand on things, and we are very supportive of that. And in the past, we may not have been. Um, and we just, I don't think it was thought about as much. And now we were a lot more socially conscious about what's going on. And those athletes have to meet that, as well as our other influencers. I mean, you and I talked yesterday about our influencers that we have on Twitch with eSports. And, that's something that we've been doing for the last 5 years. And I know Erin Millard is going to be talking later in the day about our whole eSports program, which she's really responsible for. I just kind of hang on and take credit for what she does. But it's been, the selection process on those influencers has been interesting. Twitch 5 years ago was a little rougher than it is now, and they've done a great job with going out and really not policing, but really watching what's going on, making sure that there's a lot of respect that going on with our influencers. But we have a great influencer, Dr. Lupo. He's amazing, amazing streamer, amazing person, amazing family. But he works with St. Jude, and he's raised millions and millions of dollars for St. Jude. So that's something that meets our values.
And this is an eSports.
This is an
influencer.
eSports, yes. I mean, we used
Right.
him. We did the Twitch stream challenge or Stream Aid, right, just a couple of weeks after the lockdown, and raised millions and millions of dollars for COVID relief. And just something, it's the Twitch vehicles is a really fun thing to be a part of.
Yeah, so it's interesting to hear you talk about that, because P&G is traditionally thought of as the NFL, the Olympics. What other places or channels or events, or where are you looking to for 2021 and beyond?
Yeah, I think we're looking at everything. What else is emerging? Esports has been a really fun thing for us. We're still trying to get our hands around measuring it all, and are we, is it helping the equity of the brand? Is it growing the brand? Are we selling more? But what it has done is it helps us reach an audience we were missing. We missed a little bit of Gen Z. We were a little slow to the party with direct to consumer. Which now we're doing extremely well, especially with, again, it's another activation of our NFL program. You can go on our DTC channel and buy an NFL Razor handle with your team. So It's been very popular. We're doing a Super Bowl program with that between the two teams now, and that's going very, very well. That's going to continue to go, but we're, also we're looking at TikTok. But again, the TikTok thing that we're doing now, we haven't done a lot of that, but so that's opening up more. Instagram's going to continue to evolve, and then obviously we'll do more with Twitch and YouTube, especially around with what they're doing with gaming.
It's so interesting talking about a very traditional NFL partnership in a lot of ways, right? But meeting the demand and fending off the competition in that DTC space. You really took something that has a long history and could be just sort of wrote and applied it to meet the moment, it sounds like.
Yeah, and it's been a really good. We've evolved that program over the last couple of years, and then we're also bringing gaming part of the NFL too. We're part of. We partnered with EA. We're part of the new Madden game. We have an grooming area within the game, and an area called the Yard, and that's been gone over very, very well, and we've had a lot of success, a lot of fun with that. But we're also using our players in the Madden challenges, so they're playing Madden. And then we're also looking at how to bring our players into our regular streamers, for our influencers. We've done some of that in the past where we had a roster of athletes who, when we first started our eSports program, basically welcomed our eSports influencers and our team that we had at the time into the Gillette family. So when you're having Neymar and Griezmann and Julian Edelman and some others welcome these eSports athletes, and I call them athletes. A lot of people don't think so, but I truly believe that. Welcome them into the Gillette family. That just, you're impacting a whole another consumer, and you're really doing fun things for the community, the eSports community as well.
Yeah, it ties back to that idea of, social media is just media. Esports is a sport. I mean, coming up with ways to create an inclusive space for everybody you work with and every target, targeting in sort of a broad and welcoming sense versus a taking away.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And so how has the reaction been to, it seems like a lot of pressure on athletes, right? Like, you got to stand for something. You better be up to the Gillette brand values. I mean, how have you found the reaction been to some of the talent to those
Everyone,
requirements?
yeah. I mean, really the first gentleman or athlete we started really thinking about the program was Raheem Sterling. Raheem plays for Manchester City. He's been very outspoken on racism. We have a spot that's been shown that we've run in Europe, and we've run in Latin America. We haven't run it here in the U.S. because it's soccer still really growing here, and it's just we were doing so much with the NFL, we just hadn't been able to fit it into the rotation. But the spot that we shot was really well received. He wanted to be a part of Gillette, and we wanted him, because we have the same values, and we're all trying to do the same things. It's been the same for all of our football players, our NFL players as well. Saquon works with Covenant House there in the greater New York, New Jersey area. Does a lot of great things for them. We have all worked with each one of our players with boys and girls clubs, where we've done some just going in and doing the virtual meeting and virtual talks with the boys and girls clubs, and that's been absolutely phenomenal. How that's been very, very well received. The year before, we had done them all in person. So we had we had Randall Cobb going down and doing something in Dallas, and Gilmore here in New England, working with the boys and girls clubs here in Boston. But that's what we've been able to do virtually has been really, really well received, and been it's had a lot of impact.
Mm-hmm. So given, the nature of business right now, virtual versus in person, what do you think is going to stick around versus go back to the way things were? Have there been any changes to what Gillette is doing that you think might be permanent changes?
Yeah, I think I'm hoping it. I mean, I know it will be. Hopefully, it's going to be permanent. One, we've moved a lot quicker. We don't haven't moved as quick as probably we need to at times. And I come from that all really when I was at Gatorade, it was like almost like a startup. I mean, it was an $84 million brand, which is, I think, what are they, $6 or $7 billion brand now. And just amazing, the growth. But I'm used to moving quick, and we've really had to adjust on the fly with our programs changes, the new challenges of how you do things. I think we've learned a lot. Especially with this whole virtual meeting thing, and seeing each other on the computer screen. I mentioned to you yesterday, I may sound like an extrovert, but I am really very much an introvert. And it took me a long time. It took me a couple of weeks to finally turn my camera on, because I was like, oh, I don't want to do this. This is way too personal. I like some of it, but I just miss that in person. I miss being at Super Bowl, networking. I miss seeing people. I miss talking about people, checking on the families. I miss all of those things, and I'm really looking forward to that coming back.
Yeah. I think we all are in a certain way. But it's interesting to hear how you've gotten more nimble as an organization. It sounds like that's a healthy change.
It is a healthy change. I mean, you just can't continuing to go back and redo the research, right, or look at it at another lens. I mean, it's like, okay, what the heck? Let's turn it on quick, and if we don't like it, we turn it off quick. So
Yeah.
but our again, when you're working with a lot of really really smart people at P&G, I mean, that's it's not like a lack of talent. I can tell you that, and it's they know how to get things done.
That's great. So we have a few minutes left. I'll ask you the easy question first, I think. So Chiefs or Bucks?
I am going to go with the Chiefs.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. I agree. And then the complicated question. I know you're in Boston. Big sponsor, Gillette Stadium. Belichick or Brady?
That's a good one. I have a lot of respect for Tom. We've done numerous things with him and been lucky enough to get to know him, and he and Giselle over the years. And I'm amazed at what he's been able to accomplish. And I have I admire him deeply. But there's this thing called Gillette Stadium, and one thing I do is I bleed my brand, and it's pretty much my utmost respect, my utmost just friendship with the Crafts, Mr. Kraft, and I still call him Mr. Kraft. Even he asked me to call him Robert, I will not. And Jonathan and Josh and Danny, and they're all just terrific, absolutely terrific folks. And then Coach Belichick, I mean, I don't know him real well. I mean, that's kind of his thing. I mean, he's not out, running around with sponsors. I can tell you that. But I mean, what he's built is amazing. And, I'm going to go with Coach Belichick every time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, some people say we kind of sometimes have the same personality, which is not always a good thing. So
maybe just the same headset.
Yeah, the same headset. I should have wore the hoodie.
No. I'd say as a former person working in fashion, I say no, thank you.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, but no, this has been really, really interesting. And anything else that we can take away, you want us to know about what Gillette's working on for next year, or we should look out for in the Super Bowl, maybe?
Yeah, I'm not so much looking out for the Super Bowl. If I was at Gatorade, we'd be looking for where's the dunk, right? So, and
right.
Where's the towels and where's the placement, which I still bleed lemon lime a little bit. So there we go. But it's Gillette, not so much. But Procter & Gamble's always got something going on. There's numerous brands that have commercials that I've actually seen a couple of them, and are a lot of fun and a lot of interaction. So hopefully we're going to have a good game, and it's going to really get a good kickoff for what's going on with the rest of 21. So we're looking forward to it, and we're just excited to be a part of it, to be honest. Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so fun. Thank you.
Guys, this was so great. Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Marie. This was, awesome. I love, putting you on the spot, Belichick or Brady. I know that must have been a tough one for you, but I love it. Really appreciate you sharing with us. We're excited to have, Aaron on your team joining us later, Greg. So that's going to be fantastic. Marie, amazing job. And hopefully we'll have you guys back again soon.
It was fun. Thank you, Marie.